Hello, everybody, and welcome here. I am really happy to host all of you for this new episode of our series on natural building materials. And today we have the chance to have Luca Compri from Italy and Hervé Potin from France that will speak about projects they have done in their countries with natural fiber. So they will present us really beautiful building made from straw, cork, reeds, timber, and different other natural fibers that will be very interesting for you to see how the architecture can be influenced by the material you choose to use, or how the material choice can be influenced also by the type of building you want to do. So thanks a lot, Luca and Hervé, to be here with us tonight. And I hope we will have a good time. And please, if you have any question, you can always write them in the chat during the presentation. And at the end of the presentation of both Hervé and Luca, we will have a question of answer session, so you will be able to ask more detailed questions if you want. So thanks a lot for being here, all of you. And we will start with a presentation of Hervé.
Hello, everybody. Just for introduction, I would like to thank, of course, Mathieu for inviting me to introduce our work. It's a real pleasure for me to be invited by the Yazar University in Izmir. Thanks for your interest. First of all, I'm gonna maybe present the office. We are initially two people, Anne-Fleur Guinée and I. We are actually in Nantes. We are both from Brittany, northwest of France, and we are graduated from the Architecture School of Brittany in 1996. After finishing off the school, we started to work in different practices that we had interest in the research and architecture. Actually, we are in Nantes, and the team is average 12 people, and we work on public equipment, collective housing, and social housing. And we are based in Nantes since 20 years, approximately. Next slide, please. The other statement which lead our project and thinking come from our reading of Augustin Berg. Next, he said that modernity cut off human from his ambient culture, and that is necessary to reconnect those two. For us, that's very important. The book is called Thinking Through Landscape by Augustin Berg. And let us read together the words. It's only as a human being that we need an environmental quality, water, air. It's also as social beings, because the social bonds between people breaks when the environment has no more sense. So, epidermis or skin is what going help us to achieve this reconnection between human and our environment. For example, collage, sample, and materiality it exists many ways to connect. Contrary-wise of modernity, it's time for a reconciliation between the human and his own context, and the context which could be either urban, rural, or social. So for us, it's time for reconciliation between the urban, vegetal, and human by bringing back nature that has been abused by man, which now must be respected, valued, thanked, and loved. So after our study in Brittany, we make a lot of travel in Europe and also Africa and Japan. Next, please, Mathieu. In Roma, we've been for 1 year in Villa Medici, where we won a residency and start starts research on materials and also historical buildings. After that, we've been in Ethiopia, also where we study rural town, and we went there in 1999. And Flora makes beautiful drawings on the buildings, very important locally. When we think of building envelope, we need time to test materials, its properties, story, in order to design like a dress. We try not only till we find the right one, the fitting one. We talk, we move forward, most of the time blindly, hesitating, but guiding by desire, always combined with respect of the requirement of client or users. So I'm gonna show you two build projects to explain our way of writing architecture and how we process of building design. We claim architecture careful with landscape. It could be urban or rural. The first project is the Écomusée de Rennes, built in 2010. Sorry. The program is an Écomusée program, as a command appeared in the 70s in France. It's been created by a museologist, Georges-Henri Rivière. Eco means and stands for ecology, a museum, and ecology referred to a new idea at this time in the 70s. It's a museum that interprets costumes or tradition, which allow local communities to preserve and interpret their heritage. For us, the questioning was perfect because it's very clear and next of our research at this time. And for us, it's how to design a build for conservation and transmission of memory. The context is locally in the south of Rennes, the city, big city at the west of France in Brittany. The site is framed by a dance copse on the west, the family garden on the east, and on the north by a wide cherry grove. You can pass some picture, Mathieu. Yeah. The existing museum was housed in a complex of buildings quite far from each other. A 19th building hosts reception, administration, and a permanent exhibition in one of the stables of the Bentine farm, iconic building with a difficult access because quite far from the main visitor parking. In 2000, Rennes City received a large donation and decided to resolve the lack of space which it was suffering, to make a new exhibition room. So we've been invited to the competition in 2007, and we won the competition. The brief was to keep the soul of the local way of living, designing a site-specific building. Two elements from the site inspired us. After visiting the farm, and especially the animals parts, local species protected and not used anymore in agriculture, like cows, like a Bayer pig, which is a specific pig from Normandy. So that's very important to preserve that animal collection and to keep the spirits and the soul on the buildings that we want to design. First of all, it was also really important for us to preserve the cherry grove on the north of the site, and we wanted a minimal impact on the site. Here is the cherry grove. The program itself is being divided in three parts. First is integrated the existing in the new building as one building. We want to make disappear the existing on the slide. The existing building is on the right of the slide. second part is very simple, straightforward space for the exhibition, 350 square meters. So we designed a very pragmatic volume to host different exhibition. And first part of the program was to make like an icon for the building, because a lot of people, visitors, came and didn't see that was a museum. So it was important to design an entrance like a screen, to keep the goal on the identity of the museum. So we've got three parts, three identified architecture and materials, color, shape. This is the mass plan and with the visitors park on the south, and what we designed like a big wall, but a design specific wall on for the visitor that makes the identity of the museum. You can go forward, Mathieu. Yes, this is what was the first model we make at the office, and how we envelope the existing building, and next make the exhibition room and the entrance north south. Yes, no, you can go to the plan. Yeah, and the exhibition room on the west of the site. We always record some of inspiration with travel or in book. We wanted to think the envelope as a dress, as the tool to create interaction with the site and the program. Here you got you can go forward. Yeah, closing. It's important for us how we dress the building. So we think to think the envelope as a dress. I repeat. You can see also here on the left a church in Norway, enveloped with a chestnut shingle in Borgund in the 20th century. That's a building we have visited just the year before the competition of the Eco Museum, and that building has very inspired us in the project. And also Paco Rabanne's dress on the right of the slide, haute couture made from plastic, metal ties, or disc. So that kind of form, geometry, or material are very inspired for us, and we wanted to put them in the project like contemporary reinterpretation. You can go next. Here is in the north of Brittany, in Mont Saint-Michel. You have also wood building with chestnut shingle. That is a local technique of construction in north of Brittany and also in Normandy. So we like to work really close to contractors, to also close to the identity of the region, and we decide to make the building like a screen face to the visitors, and design like a dress, like a robe, but a specific robe for the museum, and inspired by the chestnut shingle. So here is the first design, and yes, you can go. And the competition pictures that we have rendered in 2007. And you can see what we want. It is the chestnut shingle face to the visitors, with the entry very identified for the visitors, and also make you when you arrive in the parking, you face with a very important museum when you go inside after that. Yes, here is the finished project a few years later in 2010. You can also see the pigskin pattern is printed on the south window in order to protect the office behind it. It's the south facade, so it was important also to protect the office at the first floor for the sun. And the exhibition room on the west is also enveloped by this chestnut shingle. The tree trunk that you see on the picture are not factice, but are very real and are structural to bring the first floor that crossed the hall from north to the south. The volunteer was to mix natural and artificial, sophisticated and raw. You can go to the next slide where you see some details and junction of angle between south and east, and here is after that you can see the whole facade. We wanted to make chestnut shingle, but different from what is typically done. Inspired by the dress by Paco Rabanne, it was important to make some dynamic movement on the line of the chestnut. Yes, you can go through because we're gonna this is it's the picture important for us. It was one of the first collage that made on floor when we were in Roma. To demonstrate that the context is not the only rural landscape or urban context, but the context can also be animals that are around us, and we can make some sample of the skin of the animal on the house. But it's like a joke, but a joke that we have interpreted in the museum by this sample of pig skin on the south facade. Yeah, you can go. Yeah, this is the pig skin and the sun protect adhesive on the glass because we are on the south facade. Is the question of hybridation and opposition between sophisticated and raw that we wanted for the museum. So on the other hand of the very sophisticated woodwork on the facade, we juxtapose wood raw, a kind of big lot supported by tree trunk on the first floor. Those trunks are not artificial, but they contribute to the structure. And this element becomes the landmark of the building, welcoming visitors and identifying the main entrance. So you can go inside the building, and we can pass some picture taken by a photograph. Oh yes, it's another reference. Just before it was in Bergen in Norway. Also we visited just before the competition, where we were fascinated by the wood on the floor, wood on the roof, wood on the wall, and we want that kind of spirit for the project. So that's why inside the building there's a lot of wood on the floor, on the roof, on the tree trunk. Also for agency, and not only for structure, but also for furniture. It's a collage for the entire design, and after that the reality as we have done during the project and the process design for the building. So you have tree trunk also inside the building to support the first floor. And then you have like a collage of colors. In green is the existing building that disappear in the old project. In purple is the technical room and also sanitary, and after that, you have the exhibition room. So we want to make like for the visitor, like a special atmosphere that represents the spirit of the Eco Museum between ecology and interpretation of animal conservation. Sorry. Yeah, you can go through some picture, and I stop a little to to talk, but you have different ambience of the hall. Yes, this is the interior of the exhibition room. It's a black room specifically made for scenographic exhibition. So here is the south facade that we want different from the north. The north facade. Sorry, that we want different from the south, and pliage of the facade. The next project is the Centre Beautour, also in the west of France. Is located in the former grounds of a naturalist called Georges Durand. We spent his career studying birds, insects, plants, and mammals that he found during travel across France, Africa, and the Pyrenees. The competition took place in La Roche-sur-Yon, a commune located in western France. The story is that Mr. Durand let his house vacant and totally abandoned for decades. When we visit during yes, here is the part of you can go. Yeah, it's the part of this competition of the collection of Georges Durand. The site is very rural, located in the lost landscape in the south of La Roche-sur-Yon. We have been invited in competition in 2010, and we won the competition. 2012, sorry, and we won the competition. So you can go after when we visit the site. The house of Mr. Durand was like a film of Tim Burton, maybe you know, Sleepy Hollow, very abandoned and scareful building, like an old manor lost in the countryside. So the project engaged you can see the manor when we visit during the competition. The site was huge and it was a real challenge. 8.5 hectares. We wanted to preserve the main natural elements of the site: grove, pond, split old trees. And here is the interior of the manor, very abandoned and destroyed during decades. So the project engaged in a series of architecture and landscape intervention, varying in scale and intensity, all aiming to provide an appropriate response to the conditions that sustain the surrounding ecosystem. We work a lot on thematical gardens and intervention located among the site. We develop a lot of landscape with landscape architect Guillaume Sevin here in Nantes, and we work together to preserve the identity of the landscape and to associate the architecture and landscape. So the historic Mr. Durand mansion was still used as starting point for the project. We wanted the extension neutral, like an insect just laid beside the existing mansion. Yeah, it's the insect. As an animal, don't want the extension to kill the existing mansion. As you have seen on the picture, the building of Mr. Durand was very huge and important, and we don't want the extension kill this existing building, and we just want to make like an organic building, just placed beside the mansion as an insect. There was no shape pre-established. After the survey and the plan of tree conservation, we slot the building in between. So yeah, here in the mass plan, you can see the old manor, a square building, very huge, and we put the extension on the south, like an organic form shape, face a big prairie that we want to preserve. And next, there's a lot of walkway on the countryside to visit the landscape and thematic garden that have designed Guillaume Sevin. So the thatch building curves in an organic inspired form and seems to almost embrace the Durand mansion at its meeting points that you can see on this 3D view. What we have done is we have chosen to build with vernacular dimension. As usual, we start to look around locally or externally and find what story we want to tell now. Here is, for example, nearby this region, there's a local material and technique of thatching roof. And here is the museum, an eco-museum in Vendée. That is the Ecomusée du Davio. On this picture, it's a travel we've done in the north of Europe, in Denmark, where there's also a thatch roof in just on a white building. And also in Ethiopia, where we went a few years before. There's a lot of straw ground and eucalyptus. Here is in Ethiopia how they cut off the eucalyptus to make some nature and architecture hybridation. It's very interesting. So we wanted to sculpt a massive thatch building. Here is the competition 3D vision. Preserve the Mr. Durand mansion and make a very specific extension, all enveloped in thatch. So we start using thatch as a main material to design the dress, working out the technique and quality of stroke to design the extension. So that's a reinterpretation of the traditional construction technique that exists in this region, and we want to make a huge reinterpretation. So the thatch is made from reeds, was chosen for the exterior and of the new building as a reference to the traditional construction technique in the Vendée region. Here is we start our work a lot with the contractor, Mr. Logoff, who we even met him during competition time to detail the building. Here is some visit we made with him. Just a few kilometers from Nantes, where we are based. So local reeds were used to create a skin of thatching along the entire length and roof of the building, echoing tradition while giving a visual contrast to the mansion. You can go through Here is during the under construction of the building. Mr. Legoff is the man on the left of the picture. So that make a contrast with the Durand mansion. The building grows like an organ, so organically, embracing the mansion and spreading out to the site without overthrowing the natural order. What we really appreciate is the fact we don't control fully the detail. Here this angle can be drawn. It's the result of the quality of materials. Yeah, you can see is the way the thatch man goes through the straw with the thatch. Yeah, and here is the detail that we have made during the study, but the angle between roof and walls is very important because the shape is created by the materials, the thatch, and you can't design very close the reality of that design. So in reality, you can go through the picture. It's like a non-decided architecture, or non-designed, because it's the contractor with the attachment that have the solution to make it. Yeah, we can say all the building was made by 35,000 stack of straw. That's very important, and it took 9 months to cover up all the building. So it's a lively material. It colors change, become gray, and actually the building has been delivered in 2014, and actually it's the touch has a color gray, all the building, and it's like a mix with all the landscape. So the building smoothly blends in this environment and appears to become part of the topography. It rises up the ground, allows the biodiversity to stay in place. The timber frame structure raised on stilts, like we have made in Rennes, in the Ecomuseum in Rennes, and many of its components manufactured beforehand, so as to ensure an efficient construction phase and prevent any unneeded site disturbance. So you can see the wooden pillars reducing the impact of the building on the landscape and allowing space underneath for a shallow pond. Yeah, you can see some view of the building. Inside the building, there's exhibition room, of course, pedagogical room for children, and also some research office in the old mansion of Mr. Durand that we have just redesigned as it was at the beginning. So we didn't make lot of transformation in the building. Here is the entrance hall that we wanted all in wood, in the spirit of the building, like because it's a biodiversity museum program. So all in wood except the floor, but you can be in the soul of the building. Here is some pedagogical classroom for children, for the region children. Looking on the south, and specifically designed for the exterior. And here is the exhibition room with the Georges Durand collection of animals, insects, etc. on the building. Here, yeah, with birds. And so it's not a theme park, not an ornamental garden. It's a site-specific project inspired by the local biodiversity, the topography, and the other quality that are proper to Beautour, the site of the building. A wooden ramp leads visitor into both the new and old part of the complex. While the old house accommodates research laboratory, and event space, the new wing contains permanent and temporary exhibition space. Here is some few pictures that you can see, and details of the junction between roof and walls. The building was honored by Pavillon d'Arsenal in Paris and been nominated finalist with the Fibra Award architecture last year. So there was a big exhibition in Paris with new model for the exhibition made by Mr. Le Goff to present the building and the specific details between the roof and walls. Yes, the story continues. Actually, we have a few projects using fibers and wood. Here is just one few project also in a thatched roof in west of Brittany. It's a school for children, and we've decided to cover one roof of the school in 100 meters long roof of thatch on the south facade that you can see here. So also because in the context of the southwest coast of Brittany, you've got thatch on the old building, and for us it's also a reinterpretation of old technique and to reintroduce in contemporary architecture. I think I have finished the presentation. Yes, and I hope I'm on the time. Thanks a lot.
You're right on time. Thanks a lot for this presentation and especially showing us the details of those beautiful buildings and how you use the materials. So thanks for explaining it to us. So now, Luca, I will ask you to make your presentation.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
okay.
Luca. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So, please.
Yes. All right. Thank you for the invitation. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, my English is not very good, and I will let Sergio help me for the translation. My name is Luca. Okay, thank you. My name is Luca Compri, and I am the founder of the LCA Architetti studio of Arese, based in Italy. I have been doing sustainable design for 25 years. Today, I will present you one or more projects that provide the use of natural or recovered materials. We will start with a small premise and they present you Casa Quattro, a little house built in wood, rice, straw, and cork decorated in 3D. If you want, start with my presentation. Okay, next. Next. Allora, in questa diapositiva quello che voglio spiegare è un concetto molto importante. Quando parliamo di architettura sostenibile non dobbiamo mai dimenticarci di fare architettura. L'architettura non è solo risparmio energetico, volume, utilizzo di materiali naturali, ma è anche spazio, luce, atmosfera, emozione, bellezza, e quindi quando realizziamo un nostro lavoro dobbiamo cercare di fondere entrambi questi requisiti.
Ti fermo qui perché sennò diventa troppo lungo. Hi everybody, I will support Luca in his presentation. Also, maybe I may turn my camera on so you can also see me. So Luca wants to start his presentation with a very, very important concept, as he has been introducing at the very beginning. Sustainability is a major goal of his design, but he wants actually to remark the fact that sustainability does not mean the elimination of architectural expression. So sustainability is, of course, a technological, a performative character or property of architecture, but architecture means anyway materializing a series of semantic expressions, including beauty, aesthetics, formalism, and formal interpretation of the built environment. So sustainability is a property, is not yet architecture. Architecture is an expression of the built environment that might contain sustainability as an additional property.
Questo, diciamo, è un aneddoto, una frase di Edoardo Souto de Mura che praticamente sintetizza quello che hai detto. Se riusciamo a tradurlo, è la sintesi di quello che abbiamo detto prima.
This is a strong statement from Edoardo Souto de Mura. I don't know if I have to introduce Edoardo Souto de Mura. I don't think I need to do that. What is Edoardo Souto de Mura saying is, for me, architecture is a global question. There is no ecological architecture, intelligent architecture, smart architecture, sustainable architecture. What exists is only good architecture.
Oggi, diciamo, in architettura che cosa c'è di nuovo? Next. abbiamo la percezione fisica dal 20 luglio del 69 che il nostro pianeta è un pianeta finito e quindi dobbiamo preservare le risorse della Terra non solo per noi ma anche per le generazioni future. Quindi anche l'architettura deve tenere in conto che c'è questo nuovo limite assolutamente da rispettare.
So what is now what we should always consider? What are actually the most important principles while thinking architecture and making architecture? Starting from 20th of July 1969, so the arrival and the first steps of the moon, we started from that day, we have the perception that our planet is a finite world. It's not an infinite world. It's not an infinite, how to say, resource. So whatever we do, in which way we are interacting with our planet, we always have to consider the fact that we have not infinite resources.
Next. Ecco, questo grafico ci fa capire come il cambiamento climatico sta incidendo in maniera devastante sul nostro pianeta. Rappresenta il numero delle volte che si verifica il fenomeno dell'acqua alta a Venezia, che penso tutti voi conosciate, ne avete sentito parlare, e vedete come dagli inizi del Novecento ai giorni nostri c'è stata una crescita esponenziale e questo sicuramente non è frutto del caso ma del cambiamento climatico a cui il pianeta è sottoposto.
This figure shows, starting from 1923 to 2016, the frequency of high tide phenomena in Venice and how those phenomena, so sometimes Venice goes technically underwater. Not completely, but partially. But anyway, it's a phenomenon that has, of course, a strong impact on the structural, on the physical stability of the city. Starting from 1923 toward 2016, the quantity, the numbers of high tide, happening in Venice has increased a lot, and this is obviously a consequence of the climate change.
Next. Spesso parliamo di riutilizzo di materiali di recupero piuttosto che di utilizzo di materiali naturali. Purtroppo oggi non è ancora così. Questo grafico è un grafico che ci parla del riutilizzo e riuso di plastica negli Stati Uniti. Vedete come rispetto alla nuova produzione di plastica il riuso ha una curva decisamente bassa, quindi in qualità di architetti dobbiamo cercare assolutamente di invertire questa tendenza.
Okay, on these figures we have two different trends. On the upper trends called generation, this regards the production of plastic materials in the United States. And on the lower trend, the lower line, recovery, it is the trend in relation to the recycling of plastic materials. So the production increases much more comparing to the quantity of material that is actually recycled.
Ok, next. Quindi oggi vi parlerò di casa 4, una casa che cerca di mettere in pratica le cose che ho precedentemente spiegato e, come vi dicevo, la prima regola è quella di cercare di pensare ad un'architettura che poi deve essere assolutamente anche sostenibile. Casa 4 viene costruita a margine del tessuto edificato e in stretta relazione con i campi agricoli che caratterizzano il paese di Magnago, vicino a Milano.
So today's topic is actually the presentation of one project made by LCA Architects, Casa 4, in the town of Magnago, in the province of Milan. It is an example of sustainable architecture, which is built on the fringe between the town itself and the agricultural fields, so the countryside. So it works as a kind of a threshold between these two different built environments and the natural, or anyway, man-controlled, man-shaped natural environment.
Next. Spesso I nostri clienti arrivano con il progetto già realizzato e non hanno assolutamente l'idea di realizzare una casa sostenibile. Quindi il nostro compito è quello di farli crescere culturalmente e in termini ambientali, proponendo un prodotto radicalmente diverso a quello che loro inizialmente pensano di realizzare.
The initial chapter of many projects is very challenging because clients, clients they have sometimes already in their mind what they are looking for. They have an idea of architecture to be realized, but they absolutely have no understanding of what are the principles, of what are actually the techniques to achieve sustainable architecture. And so that means this initial interaction between the designer and the client requires a sort of an educational process triggered by the designer to introduce the client in a new method of thinking, a new way of understanding architecture.
Next. Questa è sempre la casa che i clienti immaginavano. Next. Next. Quindi, come detto, il compito dell'architetto non è solo quello di progettare edifici, ma è anche quello di creare una piccola rivoluzione culturale che vada appunto verso una costruzione e una realizzazione di architettura più sostenibile. L'obiettivo spaziale architettonico di questa casa primario è stato quello di pensare a un nuovo modo di abitare post-Covid, dove i clienti, che sono 2 informatici, potessero lavorare in smart working e avere un contatto diretto con l'unico elemento naturale che diciamo che poteva essere in affaccio e che era presente nel contesto dell'abitazione che abbiamo realizzato.
What you have seen in the previous slide before this one was exactly what Luca was mentioning. The idea that the clients has in his mind or in her mind while contacting a designer for a new project. So from the idea imprinted in the client's mind, we go here in this slide in what has really happened, which is a special which is an habitation, so a house. They wanted to integrate this new lifestyle, which is the consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the clients, a couple, wanted to have a chance to have a space that was also friendly for smart working, but at the same time, they were somehow connected with the surrounding environment and the surrounding environment.
Next. Ok, questa è la prima idea sulla quale abbiamo lavorato. La casa che abbiamo proposto al cliente in alternativa alla casa che avete visto prima, molto più tradizionale e costruita in muratura, è stata una casa con struttura di legno e finita anche all'esterno con un rivestimento in legno naturale. Questa cosa ha innescato nella testa dei clienti e nel sogno dei clienti l'idea di rendere il più possibile naturale questa casa, e quindi siamo partiti da questa prima idea per sviluppare un'abitazione che fosse il più possibile naturale, riciclabile, e che avesse un impatto praticamente zero sull'ambiente.
This is the first proposal delivered by Luca, the client. It's a proposal that is radically different from what the client had in mind at the very beginning, which is a house having a timber structure, also a completely clad in timber. So when the client has seen this proposal, has realized actually what was the intention of the designer, so to propose a natural approach, a sustainable approach. And starting from that day, the client itself engaged, in this operation, and was then supporting the designer in finding together all possible solutions to have the maximum actually degree of natural approach and to minimize to zero the impact of this construction on the environment. So the client was in. The client became a partner, not anymore a person to educate.
Next. Next. Ecco, spazialmente da questa planimetria, questo è il piano terra, si percepisce come la volontà progettuale spaziale di questa casa volesse in qualche modo creare una relazione fortissima tra lo spazio esterno e lo spazio interno dell'abitazione. Il principale ambiente in relazione appunto con la natura è il locale living e la sala da pranzo, che si aprono con due grandi vetrate sia a nord che a sud al giardino e ai campi circostanti. La forma della casa, non mi sono dimenticato di dirlo prima, richiama tra l'altro vecchi fienili ancora presenti nella stessa zona in cui questa abitazione è stata costruita, ed è stato un altro riferimento importante da un punto di vista tipologico.
The plan layout shows that there is an intention of connecting in total the interior spaces of the house with the surrounding environment. So the house is technically opening on the north side and on the south side with large, glazed glazed facades in order to integrate the surrounding environment. The shape of the house, the form of the house is in absolute relation and analogy with typical agricultural actually constructions surrounding the region utilized as storages for agricultural products and agricultural goods.
Next. La casa ha un piano superiore soppalcato che affaccia sullo stesso spazio aperto del living, e questo crea una relazione particolare visiva tra gli abitanti dell'abitazione stessa, che quindi possono avere degli spazi a loro riservati, ma avere anche la possibilità di un rapporto più dinamico in termini di relazione durante la vita quotidiana e mentre appunto si vivono questi spazi interni.
I'm sorry, there is a concert on the street in the same time, something a little bit spontaneous. The house is on two levels. What you have seen in the previous slide is the ground level. This is the attic level. And there is a relation throughout a gallery space, which is located on the major living on the ground floor. So it is actually a form that connects spaces not only horizontally and not only with the relation of the surrounding environment, but also wants to have relation on a vertical direction.
Okay, next. Next. Ecco, quello che dicevo prima, cioè il fatto che i clienti hanno spinto l'architetto a ricercare materiali il più possibile naturali, ci ha portato alla scoperta della paglia di riso in qualità di materiale isolante. La paglia di riso è molto importante perché attualmente alcuni agricoltori della zona di Vercelli in Italia che producono riso sono in forte crisi, in quanto il loro prodotto è più costoso rispetto al riso che viene importato, e quindi c'è una situazione di crisi che sta mettendo in crisi un comparto agricolo molto importante per l'Italia. La coltivazione del riso in qualche modo, diciamo, è aiutata, stiamo cercando di aiutare appunto questi agricoltori attraverso l'utilizzo di materiale di scarto, cioè la coltivazione del riso produce comunque del materiale che oggi viene buttato via e che invece noi stiamo cercando di utilizzare in campo edile e quindi facendo dell'architettura.
In terms of selection of materials, there is of course a reference with the agricultural identity of the region, which is characterized by the production of rice. The production of rice, I mean the rice farming, generates a sort of a leftover, which is the rice straw, which does not have actually any recycling, how to say, purpose. So the idea was to reuse what is actually abundant in the region for an architectural purpose, which is the rice straw as a material for construction.
Ok, quindi possiamo vedere da questa slide come da una risaia è possibile ricavare delle balle di paglia di riso che possono essere usate come isolante, oppure della lolla di riso e della pulla di riso possono essere utilizzate come legante o come diciamo finitura per intonaci e tinteggiature. Next.
Yeah, just I wanted to say something about this. So the rice straw might have actually the leftover of rice production might be utilized in different for different type of purposes. The rice straw itself might be utilized as an isolation material, and different actually products you obtain through the transformation of leftovers might be utilized in the as a element to be mixed to create how to say natural finishing elements.
Ok, questi materiali sono tutto sommato abbastanza semplici da stoccare. Avanti. Next. E danno luogo appunto a prodotti che poi possono essere utilizzati per la realizzazione di edifici, quindi pareti prefabbricate in legno isolate con la paglia, prodotti per intonaci e massetti, oppure intonaci e finiture.
Those products actually they allow a variety of possible transformation. They may be utilized for precast isolation panels. They may also be utilized for the production of natural plasters, or also for natural finishings for the exterior walls.
Next. Next. Ecco, qui possiamo vedere come da 1 ettaro di risaia è possibile ricavare 6.000 kg di riso, next, ma anche 250 balle di paglia come isolante per le case e 120, che danno poi luogo a 125 metri quadri di telaio prefabbricato per la costruzione di case in legno.
Yeah, in the first slide, can we go one slide back? It will help for me to explain. So, if we are looking only on the agricultural process, we are seeing here in this slide how land, I mean the relation between the usage of land and the accumulation of agricultural products. So 1 hectare actually produces through the whole process 6 tons of rice. But at the same time, that's the next slide. At the same time, 1 hectare of rice, as in terms of what is left, actually left over from this production, is 250 blocks of rice straw that they can be turned in 125 square meters of precast panels for construction.
Next. Next. Qui vedete la parete a telaio in legno che abbiamo studiato per la realizzazione di questa casa, dove abbiamo utilizzato la paglia di riso come isolante principale per il pannello in telaio di legno, e all'interno vedete lo strato di intonaco che anch'esso utilizza materiale proveniente dalla lavorazione del riso come la pula o come alcune fibre che fanno da legante.
Here is a sample of a precast panel utilized for the construction of the house, which is a timber frame filled with rice straw, utilized for isolation. For isolation.
Next. L'altro materiale che abbiamo utilizzato per isolare la casa all'esterno è il sughero, che abbiamo poi lasciato a vista e decorato 3D. Qui potete vedere la lavorazione appunto del sughero. Spesso si pensa che è una lavorazione poco sostenibile perché questi alberi vengono scarnificati. Invece, andando a visitare queste foreste di sughero controllate, si riesce a comprendere come nel giro di 10 anni questa corteccia viene rigenerata.
So next to, beside rice straw as a major material now for the construction of the project, the second one is the cork. Although it is considered to be, how to say, a non-environmental friendly operation to remove the external skin of cork trees, it is actually proved that it regenerates itself in a time period of 10 years. So there is a preconception about this practice of removing cork from trees.
Next. La lavorazione del sughero è una lavorazione completamente naturale. Il sughero, per i pannelli di sughero non hanno assolutamente bisogno di colle per essere compattati, in quanto una volta cotti al vapore in appositi forni, non solo sono sani per chi lavora in queste fabbriche perché non rilasciano assolutamente sostanze nocive, ma al loro interno, se il sughero viene portato ad alta temperatura, rilascia una sostanza, la suberina, che sostanzialmente funge da colla. Quindi la realizzazione di un pannello naturale in sughero come isolante è una lavorazione completamente naturale, così come il materiale.
The production of a cork panel is an extremely natural and actually atoxic production. By taking the temperature to a high degree, cork itself produces a sort of a natural glue that allows the formation of the materialization of blocks that are actually quite solid. So without any need of additional artificial glue to be added. So and actually this allows a production that is totally healthy and does not actually produce any toxic agent on whoever works in the.
Next. Questo è il pannello finito. Next. Per rendere più contemporanea la casa abbiamo pensato, e sicuramente più ricca, perché come avete visto la casa in sé è molto povera, abbiamo deciso di decorarla in maniera barocca al suo esterno per rendere preziosa questo edificio molto semplice e molto naturale. Quindi abbiamo utilizzato questa tecnologia che ci ha permesso di pantografare in 3D i pannelli di sughero e ci siamo inventati questa decorazione all'esterno della casa.
So, as you have seen from the first render that Luca displayed, the approach is quite simple from a formal point of view. So the shape of the house, it's a very, how to say, very basic. So the intention was also to compensate this simplicity in the forms with a special technique of by utilizing digital manufacturing techniques to apply a special actually an original pattern on the exterior panels inspired by Baroque forms. So in order to give a more contemporary and more original appeal to the house itself.
Next. Ok, questa è una foto di cantiere dove vediamo la facciata d'ingresso della casa. La forma di questa facciata ha un disegno bidimensionale che richiama i disegni che facciamo da bambini, con la classica casa che ha il camino solitamente che fuma, la porta d'ingresso e una finestra. E vedete molto bene la decorazione dei pannelli in 3D del sughero a vista.
Here is a picture during construction. It's not a concluded process, but it's visible here that there are these two intentions. The intention is to keep simple forms. This is a sketch of a house that any kid could have drawn to represent, you know, a house with a chimney, with a small window, with the entrance door. But this simplicity is then compensated with this special texture applied on the panels, which are visible in this image.
Matthew, sorry, it's possible to see the new one presentation with the recent photos about Casa Quattro? Thank you very much, Sergio. Perfetto.
Yeah, I will open it.
Okay.
Non ti preoccupare, Luca.
Okay, next. Ok. Puoi anche zoom please the image, the photo. Queste sono foto finali, la casa è stata terminata e le foto sono di Simone Bossi, che è un caro amico e un fotografo molto conosciuto in tutta Europa di architettura, e per noi è stato un onore che lui abbia fotografato questo edificio. Qui vedete anche la materialità e il colore della casa, che sembra nascere dalla terra e dal giardino che il cliente ha volutamente lasciato diciamo glabro e privo di prato.
This is a picture of the ended construction process. It shows the materiality of the house, so it shows the simplicity of its form, but the texture, so the exterior skin, the exterior materiality of the house, which seems to be almost emerging from the ground, from the earth actually. And actually, one of the intention of the client was also to maximize this effect by treating as less as possible, to leave it very rough, to leave it very natural, the surrounding open space around the house.
Ok, next. Una cosa divertente di questa foto è che l'albero in primo piano è un albero di sughero piantato dal cliente.
There is an interesting story. The client himself probably was completely in love with this cork story, so he wanted to actually, as an homage to the construction, to the philosophy of the construction, he planted a cork tree next to the house. So what we see here, this skinny, tiny tree, is a new tree planted by the client by using the same essence of what is actually utilized as a material for the construction.
Next. Next. Questo è un particolare. Next. Next. Qui è visibile il rapporto che questa casa ha con la parte più naturale del lotto. Non è mai stata fotografata la parte a sud, dove troviamo invece le case e i condomini che chiudono la vista sul lato sud.
In this image, it's what this image shows more comparing to the other is the fact that the surrounding environment is visualized, which is the woods that wanted to be somehow integrated through transparent views through the house. So that's actually the combination of a house that is, as Luca was mentioning at the very beginning of his presentation, on the boundary between the built environment, so the town itself, and the rural area surrounding.
Next. Qui a nord invece potete intravedere la grande vetrata che prosegue poi in copertura e che permette alla zona living un rapporto praticamente costante con la natura e tutto quello che lo spettacolo della natura stessa comporta.
Here is a view of the from the outside of this large opening, this large screen, glazed screen, which continues also on the roof, that is connecting inside and outside intentionally, so to integrate the outer environment like being part of the interior space in a way.
Next. 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 Questo è un dettaglio della lavorazione del sughero di facciata. Next.
This is a detail
okay.
of the digitally obtained cork panels applied on the facade. So here you can see in detail the texture.
Okay. All'interno della casa gli spazi sono molto luminosi, ma hanno un taglio contemporaneo, gli arredi sono tutti integrati, ma anche in questo caso abbiamo utilizzato materiali naturali, quindi legno, intonaco di calce e pavimenti in pietra.
This is these are some images of the interiors. As we can see, they have a contemporary appeal. They are quite spacious and quite light. And also they receive a lot of natural daylight from the inside, and the combination of three materials mostly: timber for the built-in furniture, natural stone for the floors, and natural plaster for the finishing of the interior walls.
Next. Next. Questa è una foto che ci fa vedere lo spazio a doppia altezza del soggiorno, non ancora arretrato, e in alto c'è lo studio dove i nostri clienti possono lavorare in smart working, e anche lo studio è sempre in contatto con lo spettacolo del cielo, della luna, del sole, delle piante. Ecco, hanno un diretto contatto con la natura tutto il giorno.
This is an interesting image because it shows two different levels of the house. On the ground level is the living space. On the upper level is a sort of a mezzanine that is connected with lower living space. But actually, the mezzanine space is where the clients are technically working in a remote condition, so smart working. So in both cases, on the ground floor and on the mezzanine level, there is a total connection with the outer environment through this large, transparent partition.
Next. 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 Ok, io chiudo con questa immagine dove si percepisce come la luce in qualche modo lavora con la spazialità e i materiali della casa. Per noi, diciamo, questo progetto è molto importante, è uno dei progetti più piccoli in termini di scala che abbiamo fatto, ma ha portato 3 grandi risultati. Il primo è stato quello di realizzare un edificio davvero sostenibile. Il secondo è stato quello di vedere la crescita culturale di 2 persone che assolutamente non si immaginavano di costruire una casa di questo tipo, e il terzo obiettivo è stato quello che abbiamo innescato un processo virtuoso di economia circolare che ci aiuta a tenere in vita tutto il comparto agricolo che produce riso nella zona di Vercelli. Con questo io ringrazio tanto per l'invito e spero che possa essere in qualche modo da stimolo questa casa.
This is the conclusive image of Luca's presentation. It's an image that symbolically wants to express how light is a fundamental element, intangible fundamental element of the project. It's a small project. It's a small scale project, but very, successful in achieving 3 main goals. The first goal is to realize, to design, construct, and realize and complete a sustainable house, which is not only a label, but is sustainable in facts. The second goal is the success story of a relation between a designer and a client, and the growing process that the client went through. So the client engaged in the process, and at the end, the client, the mentality at the end of the project was completely radically changed. And the third is the fact that this by investing on this type of materials, This has also an impact on the local economy, because it triggers a sort of a circular economy that is now completing the process by using what is normally considered as a leftover for construction processes. So this also supports the local economy in times of difficulties. So it has three main goals. And this way, Luca wants to express his gratitude for the invitation. He hopes his presentation was a stimulus for all participants, and I believe he might be now also open to receive some questions in case.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Luca, for this presentation. So thanks a lot, Sergio, for the translation. It was really great from you to do it like this at the last minute. So thanks a lot.
It's a new experience, but anyways, it was fun.
Thanks a lot for it, and really helpful for all of us, I guess. And I'm really happy to have been able to share with you those projects from Hervé and Luca. So now we have really few time, unfortunately, because of another meeting soon after on Zoom. But if in your view have some question to ask to either Hervé or Luca, we'll be really happy to answer. I have seen that in the chat, it was already a question from, I cannot find the chat anymore. Sorry for it. Here in the chat, I have seen it was a question from Görkem that was asking about probably the Reed building, and probably about the thatch roof. If insect can be a problem in the thatch roof. Hervé, if you're still here.
Yeah, I'm here. You understand? You hear me? It's okay?
Yes. Yeah.
So about the thatch roof, what the question was about?
Insects. It's in the chat about insects. If it was
a problem? No, because actually the contractor used a specific thatch. And there's kind of security about the insects, so there's not a problem. But there's another problem maybe that can be met on that kind of roof is about humidity in the west of France, and on the west of in Brittany, some thatch roof have problem with humidity and mushrooms inside. So there's a lot of there are actually some treatment for the roof to respect the development to impeach the development of mushrooms. But about insects, there's no problem.
Okay, thanks a lot, Hervé. And the second part, so it's also answered the durability part of the question, but also there's a part of why this thatch is so thick. Is it for insulation? Is it also part of the heat insulation in the building, or it is as a design?
It's both. It's both because it's part of the design. Of course, you have seen on the picture and how we've made the design, but it's also for the heat. It's during the process design. Unfortunately, we cannot put into the calculator of the thermic building the thermic resistance of the thatch, but now that the building is used and next for there was the hottest weather in the west of France, and the building is very comfortable inside due to the thatch and all the insulation we've put on the building. So it's not on the calculation of the thermic building, but it's included inside. I'm not sure if I explain well.
So you mean that you couldn't calculate how much you need, but it's participating to the thermal comfort inside the building because of its thickness too.
Yeah, because the engineer cannot put it exists some text and some thermal resistance and some we have some datas, but with the law in France, you cannot put that data on the thermic calcul.
Okay, thanks a lot for this, Hervé. Is there any other question to Hervé or Luca about their buildings? Okay, I have a question for Luca. Maybe I didn't hear, but about this 3D, not the cork and the printing on the cork, the decoration on the cork, was it done especially for this building, or is it something that is the boards they sold directly like this?
Good. Okay. Especially for this building, I study with Technosuggery. This solution is the first time that this solution made for a building, for a house.
Okay. That was really good because it's, as you said, it's really giving all the character to your design. So that's the reason why I was really wondering if it was something already existing or you designed it with a company. So it's really interesting to see. Thanks.
I think now it's possible to buy this solution and other decoration, because the decoration is a DVG design, a DVG file, and you can design if you want.
Okay. Thanks.
But the intention of this project is create a rich house in exterior, a very simple house in the soul. I want to joke with this context.
I understand.
Mathieu, I have a question for Hervé.
Okay.
Oh, is it Hervé or Hervé or what
Hervé.
Hervé. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Hervé. I'm sorry I cannot see you. I know that you may have some difficulty with your connection.
Yeah.
No, I just want to ask you something. I'm actually very much interested in the dialogue of architecture with heritage buildings, and especially in the second project, you have been working in close relation with an existing mansion. So when I saw the building, actually, I thought of the books of Fred Vargas or something about the commissaire or the detective of Fred Vargas books. Anyway, so what I want to ask you is this. I mean, in your case, there is, of course, I mean, it's visible there is an intention to establish, a dialogue which is quite, how to say, respectful in the usage of the forms, in the selection of the forms. So it's sort of an analogical approach in that sense. Although, of course, also there is a respect of the height of the existing building over there. So your addition goes in a very harmonious way, by not covering in total. So it is still perceivable. What I want to ask you is this. I don't know the regulation in France, but I believe they are very much quite tough, especially when you work on historical next to historical buildings or heritage buildings. But the fact that you were working on a proposal that was somehow addressing other type of qualities, the sustainability of the approach, the the general philosophy of the project. I mean, my question is this: is it a matter of negotiation while designing? No, the fact that you may somehow, how to say, exceed the boundaries of protection of law if you are how to say, compensating that with a different type of approach. So is it promoted, this type of approach, in France? And that's why, and that might be somehow negotiable when you are working in sites where there might be some restriction in relation to heritage protection.
Yes, for this project, it was very specific because the existing building has been abandoned during a few decades, and as you have seen on the picture, it was very destroyed. So the idea of the conservation of the old building, there was no debate with a new one, and the building and the functional of the building, that is a museum for biodiversity, made possible the duality of conserve the building, the existing building, and make a new one completely different. So no, the difficulty in the project was not this one.
Okay, right. No, I'm totally, I mean, I got that. I just was wondering if you had also to deal with this extra difficulty, because
no, the difficulty was more with the engineer to prove, it's crazy, but they wanted us to prove that the touch is waterproof, because it's it's the vernacular technique using since many centuries, and they want us to calculate that the touch can prove the waterproof, and that was very difficult for during the study.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean.
Yeah, but it's also because, as you said, the regulation in France are very strong, and you have to prove all the things that you do in the building, thermically, structurally, waterproof. Yeah, it's not so easy. And
yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with that. I mean, I come from another ultra conservative country in.
Yeah, I know in Italy it's
in conservation and in general regulation. We are very good at regulating ourselves in a way that sometimes we get trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a very nice approach, really. I mean, and the finished appeal was really nice. I mean, so smooth, so unique. You know, it was similar also to what Luca has done. I mean, Luca doesn't have the continuity in all surfaces, you know, also the roof, but in that case becomes something really mimetic. You know, something that almost disappeared. Very nice project.
Thank you. I will try to put the camera. I don't know if it's gonna.
Sergio.
Sì.
In the first idea, Casa 4, the roof was in cork.
Okay.
But for economical reason,
here comes the note from Luca, the original design of Casa 4. Luca, what is the reason of Casa 4? Is it because of the family surname, or it's about the number?
No, it's about the number because è la quarta casa, diciamo, che facciamo completamente naturale, quindi.
Okay. So that's another news that wasn't given. Casa 4 means house number 4. So house number 4 is the fourth house with a sustainable approach designed by the firm of Luca. So Luca wanted to remark the fact that the original idea was also to continue with the cork paneling on the roof side as well. But there was, in that case, was a budget limitation. So, it was also supposed to be a completely clad in wood.
Okay. So I'm really sorry to interrupt this nice discussion, but we really need to. I just have been reminded by the next participant to the meeting that we really need to quit Zoom. So I'm again really happy that we could have those presentations tonight and that we could see these beautiful buildings and see different approach on sustainability and using natural fiber. So thanks a lot again, Hervé and Luca to be here, and of course Sergio to help with the translation. So thanks a lot again, and I will be happy to have more of these events with you another time, or to discuss again about all of it. Thanks a lot to all.